Hi everyone, and welcome to Millennium Computers online tutorial series. Today's course is going to answer the question, how do I use the filter options page? Today's course is going to be module neutral, so in other words, this can be applied to any application within FAST. The demonstration I'm going to start with is in the student reporting application, but this could just as easily be applied to any other of the FAST modules. What I want to do is actually walk you through each of the different filter option types and show you that although this is a pretty big and complicated looking page, it really is fairly simple in terms of how you would use it to execute a basic query or report. The first thing I want you to keep in mind is that typically speaking, less is more when it comes to using the filter options. You don't want to use a ton of filters because the more filters you add, the more you're going to be refining your query. And typically that could also mean the more probability of missing data that you're trying to generate. I generally recommend using a handful of filter options, just those that are required to narrow down your results enough to have a good data set to work with. I'm going to walk you through a variety of filter option types now. Notice in my term field, there are two rectangles, one in the top, and notice that I cannot type anything in here. The rectangle on the bottom is where I would actually make my entries. So there's a couple things I can do here. I could actually choose to type directly into this field. After I select the text to include, I can click my enter key, or I can click on the green check mark. That's going to now pull that field into my query to use in this report. I can add multiple fields to this because this is considered a multi-search box. I can include as many parameters in this box as I'd like to use in my query. I could also use the magnifying glass to search, and this would allow me to enter some or all of the field and search for the results. Or I could simply go ahead and type in another term code. And again, click either enter or the plus key. These two terms are now part of this query. To remove one, I can simply highlight it and click the red X. The other option you have is to use a function filter wherever these may be found. If I click on my function key, it's going to show me that I have three primary options for this filter control. I could select current term, terms this academic year, or terms this calendar year. The crucial thing about using function-based filters is it's going to allow you to create and pin reports and never have that data become stale. The data won't stale date because you're not hard coding a point in time in your query. Rather, you're using a function-based filter that will always bring you back current results based on the criteria you've selected. For instance, if I choose terms this academic year, anytime I run this query, it's going to bring me back terms for this academic year at whatever point in time I happen to be in my academic calendar. The other thing you can do is select this second radio button. This means that you are excluding this from your query rather than including it. Equals means to include, and the parentheses means to exclude. Let's remove the designated term and just use terms this academic year for this query. Whenever you see an empty rectangle with the notation inside saying click plus to add values, you can do one of two things. I could either click directly on the rectangle, and this is going to bring me back a list of variables that I can choose from. You can scroll through the results and make your selection. You can choose more than one by holding down your shift key and then simply click the check mark to pull it into your report. To add additional fields, just click back on the green plus icon. It'll open up the search box again and allow you to add additional fields. Notice now there are more fields in this filter option than there is room on the page. You can simply scroll up and down using either your arrow keys or the scroll bar to see everything within your query. Just like before, if you want to make any deletions, just click on the red X. The subject field represents a filter option type of drop-down list. All we need to do here is click on the arrow. It's going to bring me back everything in that field that I can choose from. There could be a handful of filter options, or there could be a very long list. Using this type of filter option, you can only pull in one option into your query, not multiple. The subject number field represents a type of filter option where you can either choose to use an equal, not equal, like, or not like, and include a specific piece of text. If I include subject number of 100, I could look for specifically courses with a subject of chemistry and a subject number of 100. Similarly, I could say not equal, which would bring me back all courses with the subject of chemistry that are not 100. I also want to show you how to use the date fields. All date fields use what's called a date combo box. Let me show you how to use these. First of all, I could choose a specific point in time as my start date. I could just click on the calendar and scroll ahead or back in months and in years and choose a point in time. Now this would be a very specific query if I'm saying a start date, April 1st, 2015. The other options are to use not equal, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or between. These are all pretty self-explanatory, but let's do a quick example using the between. Between is going to add another search box. This is going to allow you to use a date range. For instance, a start date of between April 1st, 2015 and June 1st, 2015. This is going to capture any courses with a start date between these two fields. I want to also quickly draw your attention to the small Save buttons next to each of the filter option headers. This is going to allow you to save specific filter options as your personal profile defaults for this query. In this scenario, I'm using the course summary page, and I could choose as an example to save or pin this selected term, terms this academic year, as my own personal default. What this means is that every single time I come into student reporting to run the course summary page, this term will already be pre-populated for me. I'm never going to have to select it again. This is really handy and a huge time saver if you constantly use the same filter options in the same queries. It's designed to save you some time every time you want to run the same report. Lastly, on this page, I want to draw your attention to the Clear Filter Options button. If you use the Clear Filter Options button, this is actually going to clear out all the filter options and allow you to start fresh. Often, when you're running a query and then moving to a different reporting page and running another report, it's going to hold on to whatever filter options it can between one report to the next. This is the concept of sticky filters, and it is deliberate, but there are times when you may not want to use the same filter options in the next report. What you want to do in that case is click Clear Filter Options, and it's going to wipe out all the filter options on this page and allow you to start fresh. When you've completed entering as many filter options as you need, you simply click Execute Report, and it's going to bring back a list of all the results that meet the criteria selected. I hope this has been helpful for you, and we'll see you again next time.